As you know, Hardscape Mentor is all about bringing those resources to our members, whether that's how to cut a paver and kill it with your craftsmanship, or how to keep track of your budget and keep your finances on track. Another avenue there is if you're just going from cutting grass to kicking ass, there might be some transition there with your equipment. Josh, tell us a little bit about Beacon Funding.
Yeah, for sure. So we're based out of Illinois, and for the past 34 years, we've been helping companies acquire the equipment they need to grow their business. And in that time period, we've been fortunate enough to originate around 30,000 transactions to the tune of about $1.7 billion. We got our start in the decorated apparel and imprinted sportswear space, eventually moving into a variety of vocational trucks with a focus in towing. And then it was just a few years ago we recognized the high caliber companies within the hardscape industry and really thought it would be a nice next direction for Beacon Funding to go. Unlike a lot of other finance companies that are more generalists, meaning they'll finance a wide variety of equipment across most industries, we feel that we can best serve our customers by dialing in and really dedicating ourselves to a smaller number of industries. Because our goal is to really, grow alongside of them and help them mechanize their business to reach its full potential. And it was part of that process of learning the new industry that we actually sent a group of individuals down here to this show. We just walked the floor for a couple days, didn't have a booth, but really is what we were trying to do is have as many conversations as possible with business owners, with equipment sellers, with solution providers, just to really get a baseline of our knowledge to really figure out a way how we can actually provide value to this industry.
I love it, man. It's like you're taking a personal aspect to helping out us hardscapers.
Yes, 100%. And like I said, we really like to dial in and get to know our specific industries. We feel that we just best serve the community by not trying to please everyone. We really want to stay in our lane. And I do think by doing that, we can grow alongside our customers and help them grow their business.
I love it. I feel the hardscape industry as itself is a niche industry.
Yes.
I feel the couple other businesses that you mentioned that you were working with before are also niche
100%. 100%. And I'll repeat it. It's just by staying in the lane that we know, we can actually provide a real value to our customers.
I love it. So it's the same as us contractors. I always say I get nervous when I see 20 different services on the side of somebody's truck.
Yeah.
Right? Just narrow it down.
Yes.
And I love how you guys are narrowing it down to the industry that you're going to help.
It's proven us well over 34 years, but more importantly, it's proven our customers well for over 34 years.
You've seen the successes there.
I mean, we have, over a period of time, we have a 60 to 70% customer retention, meaning that we can help a customer get started, but then they choose to come back and we grow with them and we get to know their business and we understand what their business goals are and we can help them reach them.
So how are you helping some of these guys get started?
Well, really, when a company thinks about purchasing equipment, right, is what they should really think about is, what will this do revenue-wise? That should be the first area. Are you going to be purchasing a new piece of equipment that's going to be a new source of revenue for you, essentially allowing you to take on different jobs or bigger jobs that you haven't been able to take on before? Or is this piece of equipment replacing an older piece and essentially replacing an existing source of revenue? So I think we help companies sit down and think, bigger picture. What is this piece of equipment going to bring in? And then from there, I think a good, logical next step is for someone to think about cash or financing when it comes to purchasing the equipment. And the way that I think about cash is cash should really be reserved for things that you can't get financing for. So whether it be payroll, whether it be marketing, whether it be buying materials, or truly any unexpected expenses, because it's really vital for any company to have a certain level of liquidity.
Yeah, I think payroll is a big one for guys.
Yeah.
You're not going to, I think payroll is a big one for guys. And I also loved how you you're going to help these guys decide if they need that equipment because.
Yes.
I mean, as much as I'm a social media guy, I think everyone's paying this close attention to social media and thinking that they have to have that brand new excavator. They have to have that brand new skidster to even make their company, be able to do the project. And that's not necessarily correct. Or you have to be at a certain scale or a certain perspective to know that you need to bring that equipment in.
And I'll jump in and say, and it's something kind of unique about Beacon Funding as well, is a lot of what we do is used equipment. And we also work with third party as well, meaning if somebody finds a piece of equipment off Facebook Marketplace, they can still bring that to us and we'll still finance. Because you're exactly right. In the beginning, you might not need the $100,000 skid steer when the $50,000 skid steer will work.
Sure, I love that. So also helping them on the used items as well. So
so really just getting them to step back and look at the whole picture.
I love it. So providing our resources for our clients. Also, let's give them a little bit of education. Like, what are some of the mistakes and things you guys, like, okay, I'm going to go out and buy my brand new excavator or buy my brand new skid steer. What are some of the mistakes these guys are making, or just some of the things they're not necessarily thinking about that they should?
Well, I think the biggest mistake, especially when a business is young, is they really lean on their personal finances to acquire business equipment. And I get that. It's probably the path of least resistance. They've established a banking relationship, maybe when they got their first job. And that's one thing that they're really doing. And I think, as a business owner, you really should work to, one, establish business credit early on. Just if you think back to when you were younger and you maybe got your first credit card or your first auto loan, is what you were essentially doing was creating a track record. And over a period of time, you were increasing your borrowing power. And business is exactly the same. You want to establish business credit as early on as possible, so down the road when the business is expanding or possibly buying that larger piece of equipment, that track record exists, and you can work on the business, and you work directly with the business as well. Because I think it should be any business owner's goal to truly have a business that is truly self-sustaining, meaning all of the debt and expenses associated with the business are directly on the business itself and not associated with the individual.
In a sense, it protects you and maybe even you and your family.
Well, one, it can protect you and your family. I think there's some obviously challenges there. But two, there's some competitive borrowing opportunities down the road if you associate it with the business.
Right, and we never know the course or the direction our business is going to take. Right. So to build that credit, to have that resume that you've been doing some things right, then you can walk in there and say, hey, I'm about to take things to the next level. Can you help me out?
Yes, and exactly. Like if you think when you're younger and you didn't have that borrowing power and you're 18 years old and you want to go in and say, I want to buy a house. Well, that's going to be awfully challenging. Yeah. The same with the business, right? You have to establish that track record. You have to get it to a point where it is truly self-sustaining.
I love it. So, as much as you just have to educate yourself, right? I feel like that's where this is coming from. Don't go into anything blind. I'm always saying, like, don't even use a new product without having your paver rep out there.
Right.
And I think it's the same thing with you. Like, don't go into a financing. I love how you guys are focusing right on our industry, and you're going to know the trials and tribulations and the things that we're going through.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, and I think the one thing, too, for us, it's really start that conversation. I mean, you can reach out to Beacon Funding. We can have a conversation just to kind of get some ideas flowing, before you're actually making, doing the application and trying to apply.
And that's obviously all free of charge. They can reach out to you.
That is all free of charge. And one thing that we really try to do is just make you step back, look at the whole picture. Is what we're trying to do is establish a long-standing relationship. Whether we get an immediate transaction or not, we want to have that relationship started with that. We want to understand where you're looking to take the business. What's the goal 10 years from now? Does it make sense to buy equipment now, or maybe does it make sense to save and do a little bit different, for years to come?
I love it.
But it's really just a long-standing relationship is what we're trying to accomplish.
I love it. It's just like Hardscape Mentor. We're trying to build a long-standing relationship, and we also always say we meet you right where you're at on your journey.
I like that.
Right, we meet you right where you're at on your journey. We'll have this consult with you. Beacon Funding is going to do the same thing for our members. So, Josh, if these guys want to get a hold of you, or they want to start utilizing your services, or they just want to sit down with you and pick your brain about where they should be going with their business finances, how are they going to do that?
Pretty simple. So go to beaconfunding.com/Hardscape Mentor. On there, you'll find all my direct contact information. You can learn a little bit more about Beacon Funding if you'd like. And I did want to add, we are running a special so that anyone that does finance a piece of equipment or a truck through Beacon Funding, we are offering 3 free months to the Hardscape Elite program. Hardscape Mentor Elite program.
Yeah, thank you so much. I love it. Providing those resources for all our new members, whether you're starting your hardscape company or you're going, or you're in landscape services and you're going to hardscape, and there may be some things you need to put in place there to take you to that next level. Josh from Beacon Funding can help you out with that. Thank you so much for sitting down with us today. I'm going to let you get back to your booth.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
And enjoy the show. But anyone who wants to learn a little bit more about Beacon Funding, look up Josh, reach out to Hardscape Mentor. I love that he's giving away 3 free months of the Elite membership. So a couple ways to invest back into your business, hooking up with Beacon Funding. So thank you guys so much, and we'll see you on the next one.
Perfect. Thank you, Dan. Good to be here.